Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we are celebrating today. You know, Josh, we needed some an Irish jig music. I don't know what, I sometimes I don't even think of these things, but when I'm on air, I think of them and say, oh, well, it's too late for me to even get the collateral. But today is St. Patrick's Day if you're listening to us live and not on the replays. St. Patty's Day. When was the first St. Patrick's Day parade in the U.S.? Any ideas? Question marks? Got it? Anything? Anybody? Was it Bueller? I'm going to go. There's four choices that was on the screen earlier today. 1762, 1792, 1822, and 1852. When and where? Well, how would you believe? Ready for this? 1762 in New York. Irish soldiers did their parade. Now, I don't know if they were drunk or not, but that's a whole different question. And, why is it that everyone thinks about drinking for St. Patrick's Day? Maybe it's because of the Irish. I don't know. I think of food for everything. What is the food of the day? Well, we got a couple of food. There it is. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed. Corned beef and cabbage day. Now, there is no truth at all. I don't believe anyway. There's no truth at all that tomorrow is National Beano Day. Yeah, if you have enough cabbage today, you might want Beano tomorrow. I'll just throw that out there for you. Yeah, cabbage. Okay. Let's see what the markets are doing today. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average coming back a bit. It was up more, but now it's down up 152 points. NASDAQ is up 62.5. The S&P 500 is up 19. Oil's up $2.19 a barrel. We don't like to see oil going up, but it's not as much as it's been. 95.63 a barrel on the oil side. So we're watching that one. And it's all got to do with what's going on overseas. Yes, we see it over there. We know what's going on. But I should have even asked this. Do you like corned beef and cabbage? You can tell that I am a foodie. In fact, we've got the slow cooker going right now with our corned beef and cabbage. Have that ready in time for the evening festival. Okay, let's see what else. So the 10-year treasury right now. Now, we're watching that one. It's down 2 basis points. We like that. 4.199. Now, there is a level of resistance on the upper side at 420. So it looks like we've broken that a little bit just by an ever so slight margin. And we've got the mortgage bond is up, which means interest rates are down again, ever so slightly, but we are watching all of these things for you. Gas prices, do we want to know what gas prices are doing? Well, across the country, they're $3.79. We've got the Gavin tax, so it's going to cost us more here in California. $5.54 in the formerly Golden State. What's that, $1.80 a gallon more than the national average. And yes, of course, because we've got Gavin, we have the highest prices in the country. Even Hawaii's under $5 a gallon. In fact, I don't think there's no state in the union other than California that's at $5 a gallon of gasoline. Think of this. Florida is even one of the higher priced states, and they're at $3.86 a gallon of gasoline. Over there in Nevada, so the average, according to AAA, is telling me that they're at about $4.60 a gallon. I'm guessing that when I ask Josh, it's usually about probably about $4.40, $4.50, give or take. More than that, really. So you're closer to that $4.60 number, huh, Josh? Okay, so AAA's apparently weighing the city numbers a little heavier than they used to. So call it $4.60 over there in Nevada. So even so, Josh, you're still about $1 a gallon less than we are in California. Good. Well, but you guys don't have Gavin. But here's the problem, and this is the issue that's happening in a lot of parts of the country, is because of all of this looniness that goes on in California, we're seeing a lot of people that are leaving California because they don't like the way California is running things. So what do? They go to Nevada, they go to Texas, they go to Arizona, and bring their California politics with them. Aren't you lucky, Josh, that you get to have the Californians coming over there to bring our politics to your lovely area? Unreal, but that is the way it's working. We are on Fed watch right now, so the Federal Reserve is meeting right now. They're not going to tell us anything about what's going on until tomorrow, so we'll see about that, what their statement is. The statement at 11:30 California time is what will be meaningful. We know that according to the futures market, we're not going to see any change at all in the Fed's interest rates. That we already know that. So what we are going to be watching is what their statement is, what the press conference is like from Jerome Powell. I think he's got one more after tomorrow. Is one more press conference after tomorrow before his term expires as chairman. Now, even though his term is expiring as chairman, he still has a seat on the Federal Reserve for, I think, 2 more years. Generally, when their term expires as chairman, they resign from the Federal Reserve and go out and make money doing speeches. But we'll see what Powell does. He may want to stick around just to cause more trouble with Trump because the Federal Reserve has gotten very political, and they're not supposed to be. But we'll see what happens right there. Looking at the Fed futures, there's like a 1% chance that the Federal Reserve is going to do anything as far as changing any of their rate tomorrow. It's a little less than 1%, actually. So we'll be watching that for you. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Mortgage Minute, what's going on? The 3-part system that puts your home in front of 50,000 buyers. 5 credit myths we hear every week. In your home built the wealth. Does your family know how to keep it? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And I'm going to share with you, well, let's get into the data. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, shame on you. We give it to you for free. rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So what did rates do yesterday? That's what we're looking at. And it looks like there was a clean sweep on the rates. Looks like every one of them were down. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.165. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.323. FHA 30-year fix, 5.958. VA 30-year fix, 5.808. USDA 30-year fix, 5.865. All of them down. Those are national averages, which is the reason that we don't give you APRs, because we are not giving you any offer of lending. Got to make sure the compliance people are happy. But it's national averages. That's what we're giving you. Now, if you want to know our thoughts about the market each and every business day morning as early as the data allows, join the community, the Ron Siegel Radio community at rsrlinks.com/HBOD, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. What's happening with the markets today? 10-year, well, the NASDAQ right now, the S&P 500 right now is up 23.89. Yeah, we like that going up. The 10-year Treasury is down 4.199, below that 4.2 ceiling of resistance. So we like that one. The mortgage bond is up 9 basis points. It was up higher earlier in the session, still up. So that's still another good one that we like right there. Whenever that goes up, rates go down. Again, it's not a whole heck of a lot. So we're not even going to get too excited about that. Still being driven a lot by the they call it, the president's calling an operation now in Iran. So getting rid of the terrorists over there. Did you know that they've attacked U.S. Installations 125 times just since October 7th when they attacked Israel? Throw that out there. Got the news. Pending home sales, which measures signed contracts on existing homes, rose 1.8% in February, much stronger than the 0.6% decline expected. So that's a 2.4 was the miss on that. The absolute level of sales is still muted and less than where we would like to see it, especially with rates in the low sixes and even under 6 for a period of time during the month. Sales would have likely been stronger if not for the inclement weather, especially in the Northeast. Sales in every region rose nicely except for the Northeast, where we're seeing the most of the strength. Interesting. And right now we've got that big dichotomy in the market, right? We've got California and a lot of the West very, very hot. Yet we've got a lot of the Eastern seaboard very, very cold. So you look at those things and you say, we got both sides of the spectrum. I don't know whether you're going to call it global warming or global heating or global cooling. What is? I don't know. National Association of Home Builders, their housing market index for March was released, showing that the overall index rose 1 point to 38 after February is revised higher to 37. Still in contraction and weaker than where you would expect builder confidence to be, considering rates being roughly 75 basis points, 0.75% lower than the same time last year. That said, all the components improved slightly in the right direction. Current sales, 42 from 41. Future sales expectations, 49 from 47. Buyer traffic, 25 from 22. ADP employment data, they released their weekly employment report showing that private employers added average of 9,000 jobs per week in the 4 weeks ending February 28th. Job gains slowed from the previous report, which was revised down to 14,750. This shows that job growth must have slowed in the most recent week and portends a tepid 36,000 in job gains for the month. Now, we still have a couple of weeks left in the month, but when you see a number that says the average for 4 weeks is now 9,000, and last week it was revised to 14,750 for a 4-week average. That means in order to bring that down 5,000 units, it had to be 20,000 lower than the number. So that would mean that we were probably negative on that ADP report. They don't tell you what the 1-week number is because it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. So they did give us that average. That's where that comes from. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So we missed this yesterday. I want to get it in for sure today. Your Credit Matters, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. You've been doing everything you think is right with your credit, and it might actually be hurting you. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Today on Your Credit Matters, we're going to bust 5 of the most common credit myths I hear every single week. Because when it comes to buying a home or managing your financial life, bad information costs you real money. Let's start with myth number 1. If I pay off a collection, it disappears from my credit report. I wish that were true, but paying a collection does not automatically remove it. Most collections can stay on your report for up to 7 years from the original delinquency date, even after you've paid it. Now, that doesn't mean you're stuck. There are dispute strategies that can challenge inaccurate, outdated, or improperly reported accounts. Every credit report is different, but many have more room for improvement than people realize. The key is knowing where to look and what to do about it. That's why we recommend getting a hold of our friends over at Blue Water Credit, because they've got solutions for you. Let them deal with it. They can talk to the collection companies and do what's called pay for removal. Remember, nothing has to be on your credit report, but anything that's on your credit report must be complete, accurate, and verifiable. If the creditor does not verify the item, it must be removed. Our friends at Blue Water understand that. If you want an introduction, give me a call at 800-306-1990. Myth number 2, closing old credit cards will help my score. This one trips people up all the time. Closing a credit card can actually lower your score. Here's why. When you close an account, you reduce your available credit, which increases your utilization percentage. And over time, it can shorten your credit history. In most situations, keeping older accounts open, even if you rarely use them, actually helps your credit profile. Don't close them just to tidy things up. Visit rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. We show you there how to have those 3 or 4 or 5 trade lines open, use them, pay them on a regular basis without getting in trouble. You can stick the credit cards in the freezer and not ever touch them, but still have the strategy to keep them active. If they're active, they're going to have a better impact on your score. Myth number 3, checking my own credit will hurt my score. No, it will not. When you check your own credit, that's what's called a soft inquiry. Soft inquiries do not impact your score. What does impact your score is when a lender pulls your credit as part of a loan application. That's a hard inquiry. Checking your own credit regularly is actually a smart move. It helps you catch errors, track your progress, and stay on top of anything that might need attention. Myth number 4, and this one surprises a lot of people. Carrying a balance on my credit card builds my credit. No, you don't need to carry a balance to build credit. And here's the part that really stings. Those interest charges you're paying every month, they don't help your score one bit. In fact, higher balances increase your utilization, which can actually lower your score. The better strategy is using credit regularly and paying those balances down consistently. You get the credit history without the interest. And if you follow rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com, you're going to find out that you can pay them strategically. And we explain it all right there in that video that we did. Myth number 5, I can fix my credit fast. I understand why people want to believe this, but the truth is real credit improvement takes strategy and takes time. Some updates do happen quickly. Others depend on how creditors and credit bureaus respond. And that process has its own timeline. The goal is to identify the best opportunities, build a plan, and work through it step by step. There are no shortcuts worth taking when your financial future is on the line. So let's put all this together. 5 myths, 5 ways people unintentionally slow down their financial progress. Paying collections doesn't erase them. Closing cards can hurt you. Checking your own credit is fine. Carrying a balance doesn't help. And fast fixes usually aren't real fixes. If your credit needs attention, or if you just want to know where you stand before you start the home buying process, let's talk. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps, rsrlinks.com/keysteps to get your financial house in order. And if you're working toward becoming debt-free, visit rsrlinks.com/debt-free for a strategy that actually makes sense for your situation. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio. When we come back, the three-part system that puts your house in front of 50,000 buyers and your home built wealth. Does your family know how to keep it? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment. Today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. You know what's funny? 2 neighbors, same street, similar homes. One sells in a week with multiple offers. The other one still sitting there 6 weeks later with a price reduction and a very frustrated homeowner. Same market, same neighborhood. What was the difference? Strategy. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Today on Real Time Real Estate, we're talking about something sellers get wrong more often than they realize, and it's not the price. It's the plan. Let's talk about what's actually happening out there right now. The market has shifted. It's not the free-for-all we saw a few years ago where you could throw a sign in the yard and get 12 offers by Tuesday. Today's market rewards preparation, it rewards presentation, and it rewards working with people who know what they're doing. Here's what I want you to understand. Homes with a good plan get offers. Homes without one, just sit. And the longer a home sits, the more it starts to look like something is wrong with it, even when there isn't. Days on the market matter. Buyer perception matters. And once you've been on the market for 45 days without an offer, the conversation changes completely. So what goes into a good plan? First, pricing strategy. And I want to be clear, this is not about setting the lowest price. It's about setting the right price. There's a big difference. A home priced correctly from day one creates urgency. It brings buyers in quickly. It can generate multiple offers, which actually puts the seller in a stronger position than if they'd priced high and chased the market down. Second, presentation. How does the home show? Online and in person. Because here's the reality. Most buyers today have already done a full tour of your home before they ever set foot inside. The photos, the video, the description, that's your first showing. And if that first showing doesn't create a reason to come see it in person, you've already lost them. Third, exposure. Where's the home being marketed and who is actually seeing it? Here's something most sellers don't know. We have access to an advertising platform on Facebook and Instagram that puts your home in front of 30 to 50,000 people in a very short period of time. Not just anybody, people in the market, in the right price range, in the right geography. That kind of reach used to be reserved for big national builders with big marketing budgets. Not anymore. And we pair that with a tool called Sales Max that helps sellers understand how their listing is being positioned. How many buyers are actively searching in their price range, how the competition looks, and what adjustments might make the biggest difference in getting the home sold. That information is available at rsrlinks.com/salesmax. rsrlinks.com/salesmax if you want to take a look. Now, here's where I bring this back to what we do every week on this show. Selling your home is only half the conversation. The other half is what comes next. Where are you going? Are you buying another home? Are you downsizing? Are you relocating? And what does your financial picture look like once the sale is done? I've seen sellers walk away from a great sale and then make decisions on the buy side that cost them far more than they realized because nobody sat down with them and mapped out the full picture. That's what a certified liability advisor does. We look at the whole household, income, debts, the home you're selling, the home you're buying, and we make sure the strategy makes sense for your life, not just your loan. If you're thinking about selling and you want to know what your home is worth right now, go to rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. That says in RSR, Ron Siegel Radio, money.com. You'll get a real-time look at what's happening with home values in your area. And if you want to take the next step and get your financial house in order before you make a move, go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. We'll walk you through exactly what to look at, how to get positioned for whatever comes next, because whether you're selling, buying, or both, the families who win are not the ones who show up, are the ones who show up with a plan, not luck. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. So if you are thinking about buying or selling, it is very important that you do a couple of things. Go and get the free tools that we have for you. You can get the Home Buyer's Guide, rsrlinks.com/HBG, rsrlinks.com/HBG. If you are a first-time buyer, Get the guide, rsrlinks.com/FTHB. rsrlinks.com/FTHB. If you are a veteran, and thank you for your service, rsrlinks.com/VA loan. rsrlinks.com/VA loan. Josh, is it VA loan or VA loans? I think it's VA loan, singular. rsrlinks.com/VA loan. If you're selling, rsrlinks.com/HSG. rsrlinks.com/HSG. Got a lot of tools for you right here. You've got the Sales Max, rsrlinks.com/salesmax, rsrlinks.com/salesmax. So we got a lot of tools right there for you if you're in the buying or selling market or contemplating them. Get the strategy right. Get it done now. Okay, let's, speaking of getting it done right, getting it done now, Borrow Smart segment brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. You worked for decades to build equity in your home. You made every payment. You maintained the property. Maybe you even paid it off, but here's a question most people never think to ask until it's too late. What actually happens to that home and all the equity in it when you're gone? I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Today, I want to talk about something that sits right at the intersection of real estate and estate planning, and why the decisions you make now can either protect your family or create a real mess for them later. Let's start with a simple scenario. A husband and wife own a home together. They've built up significant equity over the years. One of them passes away. The surviving spouse assumes everything, just transfers over automatically. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And the difference between those two outcomes almost always comes down to one thing: whether or not a proper living trust was in place and whether or not that home was actually titled inside that trust. Here's what a lot of families don't realize, and a living trust doesn't do you any good if your house was never put into it. That's what's called a funded trust versus an unfunded trust. One protects your family, the other gives you a false sense of security. No, I'm not an estate planning attorney. I don't even play one on TV. That's not what I do. But after more than 4 decades in mortgage business, I've sat across from enough families and enough trustees to tell you that real estate is almost always the most complicated asset to deal with when someone passes. Why? Because there are mortgages involved. There are titles to transfer. There are decisions about whether to keep the property, sell it, or refinance it. And those decisions have real financial consequences, especially when beneficiaries are waiting on distributions and a trustee is trying to figure out what to do with a piece of real estate that still has a loan on it. So what does this have to do with your mortgage strategy today? Everything. If you own a home, your home is likely your largest single asset. And if you haven't thought about how that asset flows to the people you love or how your mortgage fits into that picture, then your estate plan, even if you have one, may have some gaps in it. Here are a few things worth knowing. First, trust distributions are handled by the trustee, not a court, not a judge, not a government agency. The trustee follows the instructions in the trust document. If that document is clear, the process moves forward. If it's not clear, or if the home wasn't properly titled into the trust, things can get held up for months, sometimes longer. Second, the type of mortgage on a property matters when it comes to estate administration. A conventional mortgage, a reverse mortgage, a HELOC, they all have different rules about what happens when a borrower passes away. Your family shouldn't be learning those rules for the first time while they're grieving. And third, and this is important, having a strategy for your home equity while you're alive may actually make things simpler for your heirs. If your equity is sitting there doing nothing, that's a missed opportunity. If it's positioned well, it can support your retirement, protect your cash flow, and still transfer cleanly to your family when the time comes. I work with a group of trusted estate planning professionals who help families get this right, not generic online templates, actual attorney-guided plans that coordinate with your mortgage and your real estate. If you want to take the first step, go to rsrlinks.com/estate, rsrlinks.com/estate, and we'll connect you with the right people. And if you want to take a broader look at your overall financial picture, your mortgage, your equity, your cash flow, go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. Both links are there. You use both if you need to, because building wealth through real estate isn't just about buying the right home at the right rate. It's about making sure that wealth actually gets where you want it to go. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Remember that the Home Select loan, the Wealth Builder loan, the all-in-one loan. It is the best loan on the market. Helps you pay off your loan by using your cash flow as opposed to just draining your cash flow. So make sure you go and get that one right away. GetHomeSelect.com. We talk about it all right in there. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.